Rituparno, how do you feel about Unishe bagging the National Award for Best Film?
I don't know whether Unishe has really bagged the award because there is no official intimation as yet. I haven't learned from the Directorate anything about the award. It's only the paper, the newspapers, the media, the television have been telling me that, and numerous people calling me up. Of course, their source is the media itself. So I am still keeping my fingers crossed.
How did you come into feature films? How did you start about this?
My first feature film was Hirer Angti, The Diamond Ring, that was produced by Children's Film Society. It was a feature film made for the children, a full-length feature, and it was made after a gap of 12 years by CFSI, meaning prior to that, the film that was made in Bengali by CFSI was Shobujdeepir Raja by Mr Tapan Sinha. And then, after a gap of 12 years, Hirer Angti was commissioned. We completed the film in '92. It was censored in 1992. And then, the work for Unishe began on 4th of June, '94.
What are the qualities of the film for which you think Unishe bagged this award? What do you feel personally about it?
Personally, I think it's a human story, and that's the strength of the film. It has a strong human appeal, which is very universal, easily understandable. There is no intellectual complexity. It's a very simply told story of a very complex relationship, but it has its own share of emotions, nostalgia, moments, and it attempts at a very sincere exploration of a very difficult relationship, a difficult mother and daughter relationship.
How and why did the three of you, that is Aparna Sen, Renu Roy and you, come together to produce this film?
The beginning of the story is a bit unpleasant, but I'd like to put it on record that I had submitted the script to NFDC, the National Film Development Corporation. I wanted their assistance to make the film. The script was rejected by NFDC Calcutta. It was first sent to me for modification. One of the members of the script committee asked me to modify the script. And he actually, literally sat down with me and supervised and monitored the whole process of modification, the changes that were supposed to be brought in. I was not very sure of the changes, neither I was very keen to implement that, but since there was the possibility of getting a film, I somehow consented to it. The modified version was submitted and then it was rejected. And that still remains a mystery to me. How after making me go through the entire process of modifying the script, and which was monitored by one of the members, which was again decided by the panel who sort of wanted the modifications, and then I get a letter from NFDC saying your script has been rejected. I was a bit depressed, naturally. At that point in time, Aparna Sen knew about the script. She is very close to me. She is just like my elder sister. She was, and she was equally depressed at the fact, because her film, which she is now doing, was selected on the same, during the same session. So she felt very sad about the fact that it was not passed by the committee. And then I hardly knew that funds from elsewhere could come in to support this kind of a film. But then through Reenadi, I met Renu Roy, the producer of the film, who on sort of Reenadi's Aparna Sen, sort of on Reenadi's recommendation, wanted to just listen to the project, listen to my proposal. She had never wanted to know about the script. I just narrated the story to him, and then she said, how much would it take you to make the film? I very timidly quoted a price, and she said, okay, you start working on the film, I'll take care. And that's how we, three of us got together and formed Spandan Films. And Unishe became Spandan Films' first production.
Rituparno, why did you select Debashree to do the leading role?
The moment I thought I'd do the film in Bengali, I had plans with other actresses to do the film in Hindi earlier, but that's irrelevant now. When I thought I'd do the film in Bengali, naturally Aparna Sen became my first choice as the mother. And then I started looking for some actress who would look somewhere resemble Aparna Sen in her looks, because I wanted the mother-daughter resemblance, physical resemblance. Debashree, somewhere I thought she looked like Rinadi. Besides, Chumki is a technically competent actress. Chumki is her Debashree. I call her Chumki. I mean, everybody in the industry calls her Chumki. She is a very technically competent actress. I needed a competent actress to do this role, because this is the most important role in the film. And it's a bit surprising that I took the decision, because I haven't seen Chumki's works before, much of her works before I took her. I mainly relied the decision of the casting on her looks and whatever little I've seen of her in places. And I was quite confident that she'll do a good job.
Please say something about Debashree as an actress.
Debashree is basically a director's actress. I won't be able to generalize, because this is the only film I have done with her. And as I say just now, I haven't seen much of her acting. When I decided to take her finally in the film, there was a Bengali commercial film that was running. I went and saw her performance. I went to see the film just to watch her. I didn't find her very impressive. I came and told her that I didn't like you in the film. She didn't know what to say. She said, but I tried very hard. I said, okay, but still, I mean, mind you, Chumki, this is a role which needs, which is totally out of your usual style, whatever you do. This is no glamour, and this is totally uncharacteristic of a glamorous heroine of Taliganj. What you represent. Debashree Rai represents a concept of glamorous heroine in Taliganj, in whatever form, that is totally against this role. So she agreed to the basic principle of being deglamorized. Once she listened to the script, she was quite interested and enthusiastic about the film. But both of us had to put in a lot of hard work, both she and I. And she was very obedient. And she, right from the word go, she had her entire trust on me, completely placed her trust in me, which had helped me a lot. Because I was a newcomer compared to her stature or her standing in the industry. But I had absolutely no problems in handling her as an actress. She never interfered with my direction. She just plain and simply obeyed me. And I find a very good mimic material. She is a very good vehicle for conveying your own ideas and conceptions. And she continued to be that in the film. She was a very good vehicle for portraying your own. I mean, naturally, the concept is mine, the story is mine, I have written the character, I can't expect her to be equally contributive towards the role, because she didn't have much notion about the role, and except for the fact that when she came to know about it from the script. And that was the time when she got married, and she was getting through some everyday domestic crisis, like the domestic help not coming, and people like they're beginning a new family, and she was very hustled by the everyday household problems, and she would invariably come late for the shoots, and for which I used to scold her like anything.
Acclaimed cut.
Actually, the role was very new to her. It was out of her usual range of acting, out of her usual range of dialogues, and she had to sort of get adjusted to everything new. The unit was new, and everything was new to her. So initially she took a little time to get adjusted to it, and once she got used to it, the tuning was quite okay. She quite quickly understood what I wanted. I had to demonstrate her on occasions, but she was quite quick on the uptake. And finally what came out is, everybody knows, I mean,